What's up, everybody? NTCertified here. Happy New Year. It's 2019. Today is January 1st, so you know what that means. It is time for this year's game room tour. So excited. Just finished it like 2 days ago. Did some rearrangements. Didn't do any painting or anything big like that, but did do some like big rearrangements, some changes. So really excited to show you guys. So let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. And we're gonna start here because this is me, NTCertified, the YouTube channel. This is what it's all about. It's all about my content, my channel, and you guys who help bring this channel to life. Thank you so much. This is what we call the yellow wall, okay? So if you look up top, of course, if you remember from last year's video, I have all of my amiibos at the top of my wall, and I did not change that. I left that as is. Moving down, you'll see a small shelf, a corner shelf of Atari games. You see Zoop, you see Zool, you see Kasumi Ninja sealed in a package, Cybermorph, Doom, and Alien vs. Predator. And at the bottom of that, you see my arcade one-up. This is the Asteroids and Centipede Atari arcade one-up arcade box. This has 12 games on it. Most of the ones that you see, like the Street Fighter and the Rampage, only have like 3 games on it. This bad boy has like 12 different games on it. And not trying to play this right now, but there's a bunch of different games on it, including Tempest, which is an amazing game. And here's a list of all the games that come on it. Classic Atari games like Missile Command, Centipede, Asteroids, and of course Tempest, as I mentioned before. So let's move on. Of course, you see more of my amiibos across the top. Coming down this small wall, you have my Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild picture and just 2 small canvases of Mario and Luigi. Inside my big, empty, not so empty white closet, you'll see a bunch of my like video game boxes, like my NES, which I do not keep, on a shelf. My Breath of the Wild Collector's Edition, my Retron 5 box, Jaguar Genesis, Switch dock, my Scorpio stuff, and at the bottom I just keep a couple extras, try to keep it as tidy as possible. A couple totes, some posters in the back and stuff like that. Nothing too out of the ordinary. And then you see all my big huge smorgasbord of work shirts and shirts that I wear on a daily basis. Nothing too special, nothing too special. As we move on to the green wall, you see more of my amiibos across the top. I am a big amiibo collector. I try to do a color coordination thing, but then they started getting out of hand and they started losing their color coordination. But starting at the corner of the wall, got this nice corner shelf from IKEA. This is where I keep my Sega Dreamcast games. So I have a couple good ones in there. A lot of my Sega Dreamcast games I sold. A lot of the more expensive games. I'm like, I have so many games, I'll never be able to play them. Like, why am I holding on to all these different games? But here's a really underrated one here. This is Dreamcast. This is D2, which is a really, really amazing game where you're like fighting like monsters and aliens, and of course classic things like Daytona USA. I have a Japanese version of Ikaruga. Moving down, we have Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is an instant classic. Resident Evil, a Shenmue. Coming down, we have Street Fighter 3 Alpha, which is another really cool game. Tech Romancer, which is not the easiest game to find. Another really, really good one is Virtual On. A lot of people like Virtual On. And then below that, you're gonna see a lot of my like PS1 stuff. So nothing like overly special there. Driver 2, some Final Fantasy games, Metal Gear Solid, Legend of Dragoon, Road Rash, some of my personal favorites. Moving down, you see the Siphon Filter 2 and 3, which are two of my favorite games probably ever on a PlayStation console. And then you see like Vagrant Story, Wing Commander, Marvel vs. Street Fighter. Then I have a couple 3DO games, believe it or not. Something like Blade Force, Super Street Fighter Turbo, and then I have a small thing of Vita games. Most of these games come from limited run, but the one that stands out from everything is Persona 4 Golden. Moving down, we have PS3 games. Nothing special here. Probably the God of War collection is probably the best one of those. And then a couple of those on the bottom as well. Got like a nice Yoshi picture there. Got a couple WWE Pop toys on the top of my case. Moving down, you see some of my collectible Genesis games. Musha. Musha is one of the best shoot 'em up games ever made. It is a highly collectible item. I always make sure that that is in a case and protected, along with Troubleshooter, Castlevania Bloodlines, and Warsong. Couple Wii U controllers from Super Smash and Pokken Tournament. A couple sealed 3DS, Chibi Robo Whiplash and Yoshi's Woolly World. And on the bottom, I have my collector's edition of Toki, the retro collector's edition, a remake of an NES game, which was amazing, by the way. Moving over, I have my Legend of Zelda, the classic series on the NES, protected, my Pokeball Plus. Those are my Switch games. Of course, the ones that stand out to me are ACM Verge, Dead Cells is another really good indie game. I have a copy of Doom. What else here? Can't go wrong with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or Super Mario Odyssey or Super Mario Party or Mario vs. Rabbids or Mario Tennis. Any Mario game. And you know what? This game, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, is an amazing platformer. If you have a Switch and you are a platforming fan, grab a copy of Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. Definitely worth it. Moving down, see a couple more games. I have Octopath Traveler, one of the best RPGs in recent memory. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, of course, the original copy of The Binding of Isaac. They don't release this cover anymore. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, Fire Emblem Warriors, the two box sets. I have a couple of 3DS games, Pokemon Moon, Majora's Mask 3D, and Persona Q, to name a few. This is a copy of Super Hydora from Limited Run Games. It actually has an NES style box, but it is not a Nintendo game. These are my Nintendo Online wireless controllers. So if you subscribe to Nintendo Online, you actually got a pair of these for, I believe, 50 bucks. You had to like order them. So of course I ordered a copy. I don't plan on ever using them, but I can say that they are in my collection and I hear that they are really, really good controllers. Then on the bottom, I have two like NES games, one in television and a couple GameCube games. Up top, you see my logo. You see Starlink on the top shelf, a game that is actually really good to play, but the toy to life thing is just, it's just not, it's not working. It's not working anymore. Besides amiibos, all the toy to life stuff is pretty much dead. So I got this game for 30 bucks and it's a $79.99 game. Got all these figures for half off. So they range between $4 and $12. And eventually I'll get the whole set and I'll fill out this whole entire shelf full of them. These are my Pokemon Mythical collections from 2 years ago for the 20th anniversary of Pokemon. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle Collector's Edition in box, a Switch adapter, my Build-A-Bear Yoshi. Across the bottom, we have just a couple different like books, Zelda, Nintendo 64, a Capcom anniversary book, and then a couple other games. That's Windjammers box set, for the Vita. That's Wonder Boy for the Vita, I believe. Halo Monopoly, a PC game. That's Lawbreakers, which is a horrible game. We'll move on from that. Super Castlevania 4 for the Super Nintendo. Keep that sealed and protected. It still has the original price on it for $22.99. Moving down for some Wii U games. What stands out here from the Wii U? Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, to name one. Paper Mario Color Splash was a really good game. Super Mario Maker, of course. And who can forget Smash Brothers Brawl. All right, going down, I have a couple boxed N64 titles. Lego Racers is a sleeper title on the N64. It was a really good game. A couple NES titles, nothing overly special. Fatal Fury was a pretty good title. These are all of my N64 loose games. I got these nice like labels to go on them. I bought those from Etsy, I believe. They were like 20 bucks or so for one for every game that released on the N64. Standouts for me include Diddy Kong Racing, the first game I ever had for the N64. Of course, GoldenEye 007, probably the best game on the N64. Jet Force Gemini was really good. Moving down, WWF No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000, Zelda, anything Zelda, Shadow of the Empire, Star Wars, Mario 64, Wave Race, WCW NWO, just all great games on my favorite system of all time. And then these are some NES and NES games that are not in boxes. Doom, Castlevania 4, R-Type 3, Street Fighter, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Turtles in Time at the very, very bottom. All very cool. And at the top of this case, you see more WWE pops. I am a big wrestling fan as well as a gaming fan. And when I do my podcast, the 30-second Rumble, or 30-minute Rumble, I should say, that debuts on January 8th. Don't miss it. Information will be in the comments below. Anyway, moving on. We have NES Classic, SNES Classic, the original Game Boy, and a Wireless Fight Commander. I went out and got all three of the GameCube controllers for Smash. Two more boxed Wii U games, Amiibo Festival and Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. And at the bottom is my Sonic Mania collector set. We're at the blue wall, but not before we take a look at a few more games. These are my PS4 titles. Standouts: Crash Bandicoot, the remake, God of War, Grand Theft Auto 5. Coming down, I have Night Trap, which is my personal classic, Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, all of the WWE games, which I play all the time. Spend hours and hours on them. The Yakuza games are amazing. My Xbox One collection, which is rather small anymore. Traded in a lot of these games. Dead Rising 4 is one of my favorites. Forza Horizon 3, can't go wrong with a Forza game. Rise of the Tomb Raider, I'm a big Tomb Raider fan. Wolfenstein looks great on my One X. Then I got a couple Xbox 360 games, nothing overly stand out, but all these Call of Duty games. I have like 8 Call of Duties on the 360, and then I have a couple of original Xbox titles. Nothing special there. Moving on to the blue wall, I have more Amiibos, but you've seen those before. A Super Mario Odyssey canvas, and we move on to the Sega CD. I love collecting for the Sega CD, the Sega Saturn, the 32X, all Sega consoles. Nothing overly special in this group here. We move down, we have Sonic CD, which is a really nice game. Spider-Man and Kingpin was another game I loved to play as a kid. Looking at my Sega Saturn games, Duke Nukem 3D. I always have a soft spot for Duke Nukem. Another copy of Virtual On. Have a couple 32X games, Afterburner, Cosmic Carnage, Knuckles Chaotix, which is another rarity that's out there. I have Double Dragon 4, River City Melee, a couple sealed Game Gear games, some loose Genesis games, one Panasonic 3DO game, Twisted the Game Show. It is a absolutely zany game. These are my Genesis titles. Nothing special. Batman Forever, I played that a lot as a kid. Shakan is a very difficult game to play. Galaxy Force 2, another difficult game to play. A couple other games, Dark Castle, which was not that great of a game. Dungeons and Dragons, RPGs, coming down. I have Lightning Force, which is another really good one for the Genesis. Road Rash, two of my personal favorites. Mortal Kombat 2. Mighty Max, if you guys remember Mighty Max, you guys are probably the same age as me. All the Sonics, Sonic Spinball, Street Fighter Strider, Sunset Riders is a sleeper on the Genesis and on the SNES. I have both Toe Jam and Earl games, Vector Man, X-Men, and Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Is probably my favorite Genesis game, period. So let's move this chair out of the way. Let's move on along the blue wall. And we have more collectibles. So that's the guy from the Order, Goku, Battlefield, my Batman lamp, and behind him is Voltron. And I think that might be the Voltron that got recalled for having lead paint. I'm not 100% sure, but it's probably dangerous. Shouldn't put my mouth on it. This is scary guy from Doom. This is an Xbox One custom controller, my very first one that I ever made custom, and of course that's Scorpion from the collector's edition of Mortal Kombat 10. That is a nice picture that was created from Redbubble, actually. Got it as a Christmas gift. It is very, very nice. I had to put it on the wall next to my television. And this is my desk. This is where I play my games. This is where I record. This is where I stream from. That is a 22-inch Asus monitor that I'm using. A couple other collectibles on the shelf there. Some Pixel Pals. That's my microphone. I do use a Blue Yeti to do my recordings. And this is a Lenovo Y900. This is the only place where I leave my wires exposed. Everywhere else, my wires cannot be exposed no matter what happens. I cannot let that happen. All right, so let's move on. Actually, speaking of, I did install a nice light strip across the floor, which I did not turn on previously, but we'll take a look at that in a little bit. That's pretty cool. So this is my television. Excuse my reflection with my background light in the background, but I upgraded my television from a 43-inch to a 50-inch. It's huge. I love it. It's great. Let's move this stuff out of the way, shall we? Up top, I have more amiibos, and I have my WWE Championship belt above the television, and we have my consoles. On top, we have a Nintendo Switch, a couple PS4 controllers. That is my cable box. That is an Xbox One controller, and that's just a holder that I use for my my Nintendo Switch. Looking at my consoles, I have a PS4. PS4. That's the Call of Duty version for World War II, next to my PS2. And then below that is my original PlayStation and my Atari Jaguar. Next to that is my Nintendo 64, the greatest console ever. Next to my Nintendo GameCube. Below that is a Nintendo Wii U, and my Panasonic 3DO is next to that. Here we have my Xbox One X Project Scorpio Edition. Next to my Sega Dreamcast, my Retron 5, and my Sega Saturn. And on the right side of that television, we have probably my favorite picture on the wall. I also got this from Redbubble as a Christmas gift. Things are falling off the wall. I'm gonna keep recording. This is probably my favorite picture probably that I've ever had on the wall. Like, this is just epic. So it goes over the different timelines of Mario games. Okay, so like here you have 1985, and you have 1990, and then it goes down to 1996, Super Mario 64, of course. Then it goes to 2002, Super Mario Sunshine. Then it goes to 2007, down to 2013, and that's where it stops. But I just think it's a really nice, you know, recap of Nintendo history. On top of the wall, I have my Plays Better on Xbox sign that I got from E3 last year, 2017, I believe. And that is the game room. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate you. I know some of you have been waiting for an updated game room tour, so I'm very happy to have this done and get this out to you guys. If you guys have any questions, need me to show you anything, or if you have any, I guess, any inquiries, anything you want, just let me know. I'm here. Shoot me a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also check out my 30-Minute Rumble podcast that debuts on January 8th. Episode 1 is going to be about video game loyalty. Who are you loyal to, and why are you loyal to said company? Thanks, guys. Peace.